Trojans, welcome back to another episode of Trojan Talk on Tap, where I keep your glass full of the latest buzz on USC football, give you some opinions on what's happening in college football, and always a craft beer recommend at the end of the video to upgrade your next tailgate. Glad to be here on the Voice of College Football USC channel. I am your host, Rick Anaya. For those that don't know me, you can follow me on you can follow me on Twitter at LBC Trojan. So let's get into it. What Deja Vu defense, Trojans? Let me know if you've seen this movie before, but it happened last year in Utah, where the Trojans lost 43-42 when Utah executed that 2-point conversion at the end of the game. If you look at the game before at the Coliseum, USC beat Washington State 30-14. And some key takeaways in that game was Travis Dye ran the ball. 28 carries for 149 yards, 5.3 average with one TD, while Caleb Williams was 15 of 29 for 88 yards, two TDs. Overall, the team ran the ball 40 times for 181 yards or 4.5 yards a carry. They controlled the clock. Again, they won the game 30-14. Fast forward to the next week at Utah, and not the case. Dye ran the ball for 11 times, 76 yards. USC never established the run. You need to establish the run and bring your defense if you're going to win on the road. And that was a hostile environment at Utah. If you do remember, they had the Muss behind them. That was the largest crowd ever at Rice Eccles. They had the two players were being honored with special helmets. The game was at elevation. Anything sound familiar so far, Trojans? We'll get into it. Caleb Williams had an outstanding game stats-wise. If you look at it, 25 of 42, 381 yards, 5 TDs, and no interceptions. But the telltale sign, Trojans, in that game, USC was up at one point 21-7. And then late in the first half, they were up 28-14 on a three-yard pass to Josh Fallow with 1:15 left in the half. And if you remember, they let Utah march down and score 30 seconds left in the first half to make the first half score 28-21, and Utah was getting the ball back. So why do I bring that up? Well, fast forward a year, and we have a similar situation. But if you go back to the spring game, Lincoln Riley was asked in his press conference after about Caleb Williams. He was asked where Williams needs to improve. Lincoln Riley said, quote, I mean, if I could narrow it down to one, he needs to get coached a lot better in a lot of things. That's a good answer. I think consistency in the situations, kind of situation mastery, which I thought he did some really good things in them last year. But there's some things that we would want back. There's learning the position. There's learning the offense. There's learning the routes. There's learning how to execute. And then you take it, and the game situation can change a lot of that. And you have to be able to process that so quickly because the situation continues down to down. And so we've really worked hard on that. It was good last year. It needs to be great this year. Oh, okay. Well, he talked about the coaching. He talked about going from good to great. So Lincoln Riley acknowledges situation mastery. If he expects that from Caleb Williams, he talked about it, the coaching has to as well. He has to have it from himself. And Lincoln Riley did not display that last year at Utah. And I'm not even going to get into Tulane and the Cotton Bowl, but you know what I'm talking about. But where was the growth this year? The same thing happened. Okay, going into this, the Trojans knew how profile a game this was. They agreed to an early start. It's going to be on national TV on Fox at elevation against Neon Deion Sanders. And let's see if Lincoln Riley learned about situation mastery. So let's break down the first half and see if Lincoln Riley was practicing situation mastery. USC brought on Marshawn Lloyd this year to run the ball, and Kyle McDonald, running back coach, was saying that he's got a lot of explosion. He's there for explosive plays. And if you remember the week before against ASU, Marshawn Lloyd had a breakout game, 14 carries, 154 yards, 11 yards a carry, and he broke off a 43-yard explosive play. So on the first drive, Trojans, We saw that explosiveness. Marshawn Lloyd with a 27-yard reverse field run. He was going to his left, reversed to his right, got the blocking, and ran along the sidelines for a touchdown. 12:33 left in the first half. On that drive, 2 rushes, 24 yards. USC's defense comes on the field, and they had an outstanding series, 3 and out. And you could tell Shador Sanders was throwing just little underneath routes. He had 2 completions, minus 5 yards. USC comes out on their next drive, throws a 14-yard completion for a first down. Then Caleb throws incomplete, and a run for no gain. 3 of the 4 plays on the drive stop the clock. 4 plays, 14 yards, and the Trojans punt. Where's the running game? They score on the first drive. Defense goes out and gives them a 3 and out, and offense throws 3 balls and runs on 3rd and 10. Is this situation mastery? For the game at this point, 3 rushes, 24 yards. Colorado comes out on their next drive. It's 16 plays, 67 yards. It eats up just over 6 minutes on the clock, and they missed a 41-yard field goal. The defense looked good again. It bent, but it didn't break. And they give you a gift. Colorado special teams gives you a gift. There is a sign. You're living large. So USC goes out on the next drive, 3 plays, 48 yards, and they score on a 71-yard TD pass to Taj Washington. Trojans are celebrating, but that was a quick strike. Are you seeing what I'm throwing down here, Trojans? On that drive, there was a pass, a 6-yard Caleb Williams run, and then the 71-yard TD. The second consecutive drive that did not establish the run game on a team, Colorado, that was giving up 220 yards a game. At this point, the Trojans have rushed for 4 rushes, 30 yards. If you're going to be talking about situation mastery, you have to attack the weakness that is Colorado. They cannot run the ball, and they cannot defend the run, and you're up 14-0, and you've only rushed the ball 4 times. Keep that in mind. So that's 2 touchdowns for the Trojans for a combined 3 minutes and 15 seconds of clock. That was basically half of Colorado's second drive. We move on. Colorado, 3 plays, 2 runs, and then on 3rd down, Shador Sanders throws an interception. An interception. The defense looked good again. That would be 3 for 3 on the defense. And so with the interception, the ball's at the Colorado 22-yard line, Trojans. This is the opportunity for situation mastery. Run the ball down their throats until you get into the end zone. What does USC do? Let's review. They have 3 pass plays and 1 run play. 22 yards with an 8-yard touchdown to Dorian Singer. 4 plays for the touchdown. 1 minute and 19-second drive. 21-0. The defense gives you an interception at the 22, and you don't run the ball and eat clock. At that point, 5 rushes for 33 yards. In comparison, Colorado rushed the ball 10 times for 47 yards. Let that sink in a little bit. So the Trojans scored 3 touchdowns, up 21-0 for a combined 4 minutes and 34 seconds time of possession. And that's basically the end of the first quarter. That touchdown happened on the first play of the second quarter. And then move on. The next drive, Colorado, 7 plays, 75 yards, a 30-yard touchdown to Warren Jr., and they also rushed the ball 3 times for 28 yards, taking up almost 2 minutes of clock. And the Trojans are up 21-7. The next drive the Trojans had was probably their best, all right? Even though USC punted, it was a 6-play, 37-yard drive. It ate up 3 minutes and 38 seconds of the clock. And let me review how the drive went. It was an 8-yard completion. Marshawn Lloyd then ran the ball for 12 yards, followed by an 18-yard run, a 4-yard run by Marshawn. Caleb Williams was sacked on that play by Amari Miller, where he got blindsided for a loss of 8 yards. The clock is still running. Marshawn Lloyd was given the ball for 3 yards. So he rushed the ball on that drive 4 times for 37 yards. So on Colorado's fifth drive of the first half, they come out and they stall. They go 3-and-out, and their punt is blocked. USC's special teams with a big play blocks the punt, and the Trojans recover. And there's about 8 minutes left in the first half, and Marshawn Lloyd gets the ball, no gain, and then a 24-yard pass to Mario Williams for the touchdown. Trojans go up 27-7. They miss the extra point. Again, an opportunity, short end of the field. You create a situation where you get the ball back on a short field, and what does USC do? They score too quickly. Where is the running game? Establish the run game, take the crowd and Colorado out of the game, and they choose not to, which puts the defense back on the field once again. Colorado's sixth drive of the first half went 6 plays and 9 yards. They had a punt. USC's defense successful once again in the first half. Let's see if the offense helps them out. The ball's punted. USC gets the ball with 5:22 left on the clock, and they have 75 yards to go. Whether or not they score is entirely not important at this point. It's about clock management, making sure that if Colorado gets the ball, they don't have enough time to score a touchdown, let alone a field goal, any points, because Colorado gets the ball to start the second half. Let's see if the offense helped out the defense for having an outstanding first half. What do the Trojans do? They throw the ball the first play of this drive. It's a completion. Yeah, you look back, you look at the stats, and that's fine. No, it's not. If you have an incompletion, it stops the clock. Use your running back. You got Marshawn Lloyd to carry the rock. Establish the running game. You have yet to do it in the first half. Eat the clock. Make them stop Marshawn Lloyd. Colorado can't stop the ball, can't stop the run, and USC has got its strength in running the ball. And the second play, what do? Same thing, a completion. Then they give the ball 2 times to Marshawn Lloyd. Thank you. But then they follow up with 3 passes, all completions, and the third one was a touchdown pass, 26 yards to Brendan Rice. You gave the ball back to Colorado, and they had a little under 3 minutes, and USC's defense gave up a touchdown with 15 seconds left to go in the first half to make it 34-14. Deja vu, Trojans? Yes, if you remember, back at Utah the previous year, with 30 seconds left, Cam Rising threw a touchdown to Vele with making it 28-21, and Utah got the ball to begin that second half. So did Lincoln Riley learn situational mastery? Did he take a look at that game? This is a similar game at elevation, on the road, hostile crowd. You're up by a considerable margin, more points than you were at Utah. And frankly, if Colorado had a few more minutes, they may have won this game. They may have scored a tying touchdown and went for 2 again. So, was it Grinch and the defense that lost this game, as many are talking about? No, the game was compromised in the first half. Don't let the numbers misguide you. It shouldn't have been 34-14. It should have been 34-7, or maybe even 27-7. There shouldn't have been that much time on the clock. USC didn't maximize its strength running the ball against a team that couldn't stop the run. They did not impose their will. And if you tuned in to the USC postgame live on the Voice of College Football, and you're there to hear Brandon Hancock, if you haven't, I suggest you go tune into it. Now, granted, he played in a different era of football under Pete Carroll, but he won 2 national championships. It's different. Things are spread out, but you still have to have a football mentality where you impose your will on teams. That is championship football. When you put the dagger, especially on the road, and you take the crowd out. Trojans, how many times have you seen the Trojans in the past take the spirit and break a team's will and their crowd? I know I've seen a few. How about Auburn in 2003? How about Arkansas in 2006? Yeah, there's a few. But if you want to win national championships, that's how you do it. And I think Lincoln Riley, in fact, I know he needs to take that class on situation mastery once again because he failed. He failed at this Colorado game. Yes, it is a W, but he didn't learn the lesson that he talked about during the offseason. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it Grinch's fault or is Lincoln Riley culpable in not giving his defense extra time to rest and be ready for the second half? Because they were very successful in the first half, but Lincoln Riley could have called more running plays, established the run with Marshawn Lloyd, and he didn't. So if you just look at the stats and it's lazy, um, hey, Caleb Williams had a great day. But for a team to gain 90 yards, that's less than 100 yards against Colorado, and Colorado nearly had 200 yards of rushing. It's not acceptable. And that is part of the problem. That is why USC almost lost this game. If USC is going to be a national championship team, Lincoln Riley better take another course on situational mastery. Otherwise, we're going to have similar results the rest of the year. Before we get into the craft beer recommend, I want to give a shout out to Trojan Tuesdays. Thank you very much to Dr. Zoe and Ernest Alonso for inviting me to be the guest speaker for your October gathering down at the Cabrillo Yacht Club in San Pedro. It's Tuesday, October 10th from 6 to 9 p.m. Food and beverages will be provided. Check out all the information on TrojanTuesdays.com. And now for this week's craft beer recommend, I present to you not an IPA, but an Imperial Stout from Founders Brewing out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is the highly rated 100 on Beer Advocate KBS. It is known as Kentucky Breakfast Stout, 12% alcohol by volume. It is brewed with premium coffee and chocolate and aged in bourbon barrels for a year, which brings about notes of vanilla, cocoa, and charred oak. This is an Imperial Stout, an incredible Imperial Stout. Share it with a friend, and that friend will soon become your best friend. Enjoy and fight on.